if you thought AEW's women's division was not on the map, after tonight's show, we at least took a big step forward, because we've got one hell of an early match of the year candidate. Let's talk about the show, guys. What is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here live for my live review of tonight's episode, AEW Dynamite St. Patrick's Day Slam. Took place once again at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. We'll look at everything that happened on the show, as we are, of course, now on the road to Double or Nothing. But today, had a little more of a fun, pop to it in terms of the fact that we were honoring St. Patrick's Day. And had a pretty stacked card with 3 really stacked matches on this show. And I think overall it delivered excellently. I mean, for live TV, it was great. But I'm sure some of these matches, if they were put on pay-per-view, would have been even better than what we got. They were already great, but to say that they can be even better is an understatement for sure. This show was awesome. Another week in a row where AEW was just on fire tonight. As I went back and forth between AEW and NXT, well, not in the last half hour though of the show, because my eyes were glued onto that main event, as you all know, as I did do live reactions for that main event match. Well, let's talk about this show. It was awesome. I loved it. I thought this was a very, very well done show by AEW. And yes, as you notice, I do not have the green screen up. One, still a little poop from last night's stream. I also finally got all my baseball players retired. So I will start, working on stuff with that again soon. But also because it is St. Patrick's Day, I wanted to be festive and wear green. And unfortunately, as we all know, green screen, green clothes, they don't mix well together. So I thought, at least, take it a little bit easier today. And do a review. At least one of them. I'm not sure if I'll do the second one tonight or not. I'm not sure yet. Do them without the green screen. That way I can wear the green shirt and be festive. But yeah, let's talk about this episode of Dynamite. And also, guys, if you did not get to, check out my live reactions for that main event, because they were pretty good. I popped up the popcorn and everything. I was ready, willing, and gable. I still miss that. I miss those days of American Alpha, but long gone. Anyways, let's roll in and talk about this show. We opened up with a match between Cody Rhodes and Penta El Zero Miedo. Awesome match. Again, the Lucha Bros are an awesome tag team. Both Rey Fenix and Penta El Zero Miedo. But as single stars in the ring, holy smokes, are even better. And Cody Rhodes, of course, as well, had an awesome performance this match as well. This was a match where it was a great TV match, but give it a little more time, put it on pay-per-view. I'm sure we could have gotten a match of the year candidate out of these two. Okay, still awesome stuff, but if they ever want to do this match on pay-per-view, I'd be all for it. So good back and forth near falls. Penta El Zero Miedo kicked out of a Kudo driver. I think he also kicked out of a Cody cutter and whatnot. Cody Rhodes would eventually have to win with the schoolboy roll-up to get the victory, as some close back-and-forth action. After the match, though, Penta El Zero Miedo then beats down Cody Rhodes. Hairbreak until Dustin Rhodes came out with the gun club. And then, same time, shortly after that, QT Marshall came out and asked what's going on. Which is strange, though, because didn't QT Marshall turn on Dustin Rhodes back at Revolution in that Battle Royale? I thought he did. But, so I don't know what that was about. But, Yes, I don't know if we're continuing this feud with Cody and Penta El Zero Miedo, but again, like, I'd like to. Like I said, that's definitely a match meant for pay-per-view. So for a rematch, fine by me, because I'm hoping for even better next time. Good start for this one, but like I said, that's a match. Put them on pay-per-view, give them a little bit more time. They tear the house down for sure. So that was a good start. We had this interview with the Young Bucks backstage, and I like this interview because even Don Callis kind of told a little bit of truth behind this promo. And this is a promo that kind of was meant to light up the Young Bucks a little bit, light the fire on them a little bit more. I hope it did its job. So the Young Bucks being interviewed and talking about being the best team in all of wrestling. When Don Callis comes up and says he's worried about their dad, and he brought them a t-shirt to wear in the hospital that says, "Don't slap leg while kicking." He admits that the Bucks never actually kicked him, but he wanted to be kicked. He wanted to see a spark of the once in a millennium tag team that the Young Bucks claims used to be. He admits that he changed Kenny Omega, but for the better. And he's the god of pro wrestling, and the Young Bucks aren't really so much elite anymore. Just a tag team with their fancy tights, living off their name. And if they still see the same Matt and Nick Jackson that used to be in New Japan, he basically asked them to see that. And of course, they're fuming by that, because obviously, again, Don Callis is continuing to drive the wedge in between Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. My thing, though, was there could be a little bit of truth to that promo. You know, I like the Young Bucks, but I'm going to be real again. Their run with the tag titles hasn't been as spectacular as you would expect it to be. I mean, Kenny Omega, world champion, knock it out of the park. He's on the level he needs to be. But the Young Bucks, though, it's like, they're good, but I feel like, to get them, on the level they were in, like, New Japan and such, they could have used a little bit of, like, a fire lit under their asses, maybe, or something. And this is the promo that's going to lead to them, kind of get a little bit like a change in attitude or character or something, kind of, light them up a little bit more, then by all means. Of course, we still have the match eventually come with them in Death Triangle, but we'll see when that happens. Jade Cargill had another match. It was a very quick match as she defeated Danny Jordan for the win. Afterwards, she gets into it with Red Velvet. And they were separated, basically. It's a teasing a one-on-one match between the two of them, since they went toe-to-toe in the mixed tag match with them and then Cody Rhodes and Shaquille O'Neal. So we'll see where that goes, as well as things are starting to cook up again in the women's division. Then we got one of my favorite segments of the night. Actually, one of my favorite things of this show. We had MJF come to the ring with his new group of Tully Blanchard, FTR, Wardlow, and Shawn Spears. Tully gets on the mic and says it's great being in the ring with these guys. A week ago, they were in the ring with the greatest group AEW had to offer, the Inner Circle. But you then saw Santana and Ortiz handcuffed, Jake Hager eating 2 champagne bottles, Sammy Guevara wearing a chair, and Chris Jericho getting popped by MJF with a baseball bat. So now that they claim themselves the baddest group in AEW. When you've climbed the mountain and there's no place, you're at the pinnacle of the sport. And that's where they are. 32 years ago, Tully said he was in the greatest group in pro wrestling, the Four Horsemen. And he's going to finish his career with the greatest group in pro wrestling. Mark his words. That's when MJF takes the microphone. He gets to see Judas now. He says Jericho, he pretended to like Jericho. And it was no walk in the park, having to take a basic back seat to him for 6 months was difficult. And he'd have to fall back as far as Jericho's hairline. It was hard separating him and Guevara as far as his left and right pecs are split. But he did it. He shocked and jived. He sang and danced and pretended to like him and his ha-ha comedy bullshit. But it worked, though. didn't it? Which I would say it did. Jericho thought he was taking him under his wing, but MJF was plucking him feather by feather the entire time. And a coup de grace was convincing everyone that he was planning on taking over the Inner Circle, but that was an elaborate ruse, and the plan was to kill the Inner Circle from the inside and build an even stronger faction that he has. Which again, works very well to even get MJF even higher up and further up on the totem pole, even especially as one of the best heels in the industry continuously, I'd say. Tully was absolutely right when he called them the Pinnacle, because that's what they are. That's just calling their stable, the Pinnacle. You may not like it, but you gotta look at this lineup. We got Wardlow, 278 pounds of sheer force and domination. Shawn Spears, the chairman who has been held down for far too long, but not anymore, which I loved hearing that. And of course, Cash and Dax of FTR, the only Grand Slam World Tag Team Champions in the history of professional wrestling. The greatest tag team in the world, and they look good doing it. And then there's MJF. Little MJF, as he calls himself. The guy who's only been on national television for a year, and he's already the most talked about man in the industry, and absolutely unstoppable in the ring. But remember though, he's only 24. So imagine how much better he's going to get with age. He has about 25 plus years left in his career, and it makes us want to put our fists through the screen, because we all know that when it's all said and done, he's going to be the greatest of all time. They are the Pinnacle. They are family, and they're the backbone of AEW for years to come. They'll take every championship that this great sport has to offer. And as the Pinnacle, they'll take what they want, when they want, and right now, they want Chris Jericho's locker. But before they take his locker, they want to see what else Jericho holds dear to his little, and he gets his little heartwarming message for him. He's better than him, and he knows it. They later, of course, go into break into Jericho's office, so who knows what they did there. I'll find out next week, but an excellent promo. An excellent, way to, get even more fire under this shocking revealed stable. The Pinnacle, they're calling themselves now. Again, MJF, Shawn Spears, Wardlow, and then FTR. I think, I would have liked to have seen him and Jericho go just a little bit longer. But hey, when it is awesome and as shocking as this, I cannot complain. We got FTR getting more of a, dominant, faction behind them. We have, Shawn Spears, who's been overlooked for quite a while, and I'm looking forward to seeing him get a shot. And there's MJF, we all know who's awesome as he is. Him going to be forming a Pinnacle, though, takes him up to a whole nother level for expectations. So, I look forward to see what this group can do. I mean, they've already started to trash Chris Jericho's office, according to the stuff tonight. But, hey, what can you do? Good stuff there for sure. Definitely. We had a match between Matt Hardy's crew of himself, Private Party, and the Butcher and the Blade, taking on Jurassic Express and Bear Country. It was an alright match. The heels won. They were teasing to have miscommunication between Bear Country and Jurassic Express, which was a little bit weird, but it is what it is. They win the match. After that match, we have Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley cut a promo from backstage. Mox is not in a good mood. Not just because he got burned and such, but because he's going to war again to take care of his real problem, the Good Brothers, and everybody loves them, of course. 1 second. Everyone loves them, but he doesn't. Not just because he wasted his money on talking shop at Mania, because they're cheap shot con artists. Nobody wants to look at Luke Gallows with his googly eyes and bald head, and Chad Tibad thinks he's a gangster, but because he's in Bullet Club, and Eddie Kingston is serious for a minute. Those guys are champions all around the world, but this ain't Tokyo. It's not Impact Zone. It's their place, and they're cowards. And a coward dies 1,000 deaths, but soldiers like him and Moxley only die once. As they're hyped up for their match to come up in a second, we also had an interview with Christian Cage, who rants first. There's a term in the wrestling business for a guy who busts his ass more than anyone else on the card, which is a workhorse. And if you've ever been in the locker room with him, you know his reputation for making wrestlers level up. But he's no workhorse. He's the workhorse. He also ruffled some feathers coming in. Folks worried about him taking spots, but the only spot he's concerned about is Kenny Omega's. Kenny scooped his name last week, and he's not mad about it because he scouted Omega out, and he's on borrowed time. He knows he has to get some wins first, but he's coming for the title. And that's why he's in AEW, to cement his legacy out and outwork everyone. Which, it sounds like, again, I think we're going to save Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page for the fall for All Out. Let's focus on building Kenny Omega and Christian Cage for Double or Nothing. I think that'd be pretty good. What do you think of that? Sure. Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston had a good match with Good Brothers Doc Gallows and Machine Gun Carl Anderson. Some good back and forth action there. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley would win with a small package from Moxley on Carl Anderson. But after the match, though, the Good Brothers beat down Moxley and choke him out. Kenny Omega comes out carrying a chair with Don Callis. He sets up the chair in the ring. Don takes his blazer off and takes a seat. But then Eddie returns and shoves Omega again. The Good Brothers and Kenny beat the crap out of Eddie Kingston, hit the Magic Killer, and they wrap the chair around Eddie's leg. But then Moxley tries to save him, but Kenny puts boots to him, and then Pillmanize the leg. They horsecollar Moxley with the chair and hold him down. And I keep thinking they're going to tease writing off Jon Moxley since Renee Young is due to have her baby soon, I think it is. But instead, out came the Young Bucks. They come out, and Kenny gets himself up to the second rope, and the Bucks get in his way and beg him to leave the ring. Moxley then rolls out of the ring, and the Bucks are sick of talking sense into them, and they go to leave. But then Kenny shoves Matt Jackson and tries to get a too sweet out of him. But the Bucks weren't having it, and then Jon Moxley returns swinging the chair like a friggin' madman. The heels then run off, and Moxley collapsed from exhaustion, and Eddie Kingston was being cared to by a doctor. He's trying to hobble his way back in to help Jon Moxley, though. Again, Moxley and Eddie, though, definitely have really good chemistry. You can tell they're very good friends in real life. Again, I'm hoping they get to rub the tag titles. I mean, they could face off with the Young Bucks maybe sometime soon, who knows, but I think they're due for a tag title run. Not really just for Moxley getting a consolation prize, but because, Eddie Kingston, obviously, with all the hard work he's put in. Again, the chemistry is just really there for those two. So, they were great when they fought against each other, but now they're going to be fighting with each other, so I'm intrigued. So that was good, a good match there between them. Then we had this segment with Darby Allin and Sting, and Tony Schiavone interviewing them. But Darby mentions how he's only defended the title 3 times since he won it back in November. He wants to defend his champion now week by week, and he wants to start by paying a tribute to the greatest TNT champion of all time, which we've referred to Brody Lee. And he lays down the challenge for any member of the Dark Order to accept, which is going to be John Silver again next week. But that was long before Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts came out, and basically he's like, this should be his time and all the time. And that jazz, so I guess we're going to be getting a match with Lance Archer and Darby Allin soon. It should be good. But then we have Team Taz come out. And Taz tells everybody to slow down, but Brian Cage says he has something to say. He shows up like some hotshot, sticks his nose in their business week after week, and after all back and forth physicality and the damnedest street fight in this business, he respects Sting and wanted to come out here, look him in the eye, and tell him Ricky Starks is wrong and he's still the icon. And Taz and Starks are yelling at Cage. He storms off. So are we teasing the breakup of Team Taz, or are we just splitting up, Taz and Brian Cage? That one was odd. Let's see where that one goes to. We also get a video package with Scorpio Sky talking about wanting to be the face of AEW and getting rejected time after time, and how he won't be a stepping stone anymore. He has a lot to do. If he has to hurt people to do it, he will do it. Basically, just explaining his actions and his heel turn in the TNT title match last week against Darby Allin. Ray Phoenix then defeat Angelico with the Phoenix Driver. And then we have an interview with Miro backstage. Basically, him and Kip Sabian were arguing because the fact that they were challenged for another tag match, but Miro wants nothing to do with it. But Kip's like, let's take it. But then he gets this argument with Miro about how apparently Miro sacrificed his wife for him. And then, of course, Miro says one thing is don't bring your wife out of ringside. He learned that one the hard way, which that is pretty much true, I will say there. But basically, he's like, he's not crazy about the match, but Kip Sabian makes the match instead, so we're getting a tag match between them next week. Don't know what's going to happen. Who the heck knows? And then we have the main event. This unsanctioned, lights out, anything goes, falls count anywhere match. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Thunder Rosa. Was this awesome? Again, I heard rumors from the tapings that this was awesome, but of course didn't read the spoilers or anything about that. There was a lot of crazy spots in this match. Again, Thunder Rosa took a lot of, stomps to the face, right into, the mat or steel steps, as Thunder Rosa stomped her several times, and Thunder Rosa's face got busted open. Well, so did Britt Baker's. This match had a lot of things that I don't think I had ever seen in a women's match yet. A little bit, but not that much. Based off of, the steel step stomps and, the stuff with the ladder use as well. Both these women got busted open pretty good, I would say that. Another one of my favorite spots, we had, a Death Valley driver off the top rope through a ladder. Rebel, who had been setting up tables and such throughout the entire ring, was put through a table as well. What was I going with this? I got a brain fart. We were talking about, the match, yes. Get Death Valley driver on the ladder, turnbuckle shots to the face. And of course, my favorite part still, can't go wrong, it's the thumbtack shot. The thumbtack shot, again, I'm just like, someone's going through the thumbtacks. And it was a rough night for Adam Cole and Britt Baker, because Britt would go, on to not just lose the match, but, lose to her new co-worker. And of course, Adam Cole also on NXT, he had a problem being involved in stuff with the police, with him and Kyle O'Reilly. So rough night definitely for them, but eventually Thunder Rosa would get the win when she hit this very sick looking, tombstone pile driver look like that she had hit on Rhea Ripley to win. Not Rhea Ripley, I'm sorry, I think the wrong thing. On Britt Baker to win the match. Again, that pile driver, whatever they call it, the, what's it called? Emerald Flosion off the apron, through the table, and again, it was just a very sick looking bump. It looked like Britt hit her head, but she did not, just busted open pretty badly. But yeah, just an awesome main event. Awesome stuff. And I'm excited to see where this goes further, because again, this was just awesome. If the women needed some depth, look at these two women. They both can easily carry a women's division if you, of course, give them the opportunity to do so. And with that being said, guys, that's going to do it. I gave this show an A-. Very darn good show, especially that main event for sure. Elite Squad's in a live chat. Awesome main event. He gave the show a B. Shida should lose the title at Double or Nothing. I think so. And I watched highlights of NXT tonight. I'm going to try to catch the ones I did miss and maybe go live again tonight. We'll have to wait and see. But we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, guys, that's my thoughts. What were your thoughts on this episode of AEW Dynamite St. Patrick's Day Slam? Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Wait. Let me see here. There was a leak behind the scenes video of R-Truth and Charlie Caruso making fun of Keith Lee's finisher, calling it the BBC. Oh dear Lord! Don't even get me started with stuff like that. But yeah. Again, A- for Dynamite this week. What were your thoughts? Leave it down in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBonnie3. Maybe I'll see you again soon, guys, for my NXT review. If not, I will do that tomorrow. So until then, guys, I'm out. Have a great night. I'll talk to you again in a little bit. Peace out, everybody.